So, a couple of days ago, I did a short review of Master of Orion and posted it on Steam, and it wasn't very well received. People thought I was too hasty with criticizing the game and that I didn't give it the chance it deserved. So, of course, I tried to give it another go and kind of forced myself through several more gaming sessions of the game, which certainly didn't help with my opinion. But I can be objective, so here it is. My objective review of the game. I find the game to be very lacking and to be very dumbed down. Now, there is making a game appeal to the casual masses, and then there is just reducing the game's potential to the bare minimum. Let me explain to you what I mean. Like I said in my first review, the presence of 11 different races or species doesn't really matter in the big scheme of things, if they are just cosmetic more than anything else. And don't even tell me that the racial bonuses or maluses do anything really meaningful. Sure, it will maybe influence your initial playstyle and actually force you into a certain pattern, but that eventually fades away in a generic facade. Well, I can see certainly the appeal of the game to its followers, of the Master of Orion series. I just cannot see the appeal to anyone else. And I think therein lies the problem with all of this, is the game is very casual, no matter if you think or not, but it doesn't actually appeal to casual gamers. It reminds me a bit of what Paradox did with Hearts of Iron 4. They made all the mechanics appeal to casual gamers, which in turn made the game way too easy for the actual Hearts of Iron crowd, but kind of missed the point that casual gamers hardly ever going to try out such niche style games. And yeah, I know people don't like to hear that, but yes, Master of Orion, Hearts of Iron, Stellaris, and etc. They are still considered niche games. They may or may not sell a decent number of copies, sure, but they will never come close to the big genres like FPS, RPG, and RTS, and maybe simulations, depending on what kind of simulation. Yeah, and even RTS, they suffered a lot in recent years because there are just not many decent RTS games being released. So yeah, so the developers, they fail to actually capture their audience by trying to make it appeal to people who aren't really interested in the genre in the first place. It's like trying to sell milk to adults by adding beer flavor to it. It may sound like a great idea, but believe me, it is stupid and it wouldn't make anyone buy or consume more milk because of it. If an adult wants to drink beer, is going to buy beer, is not going to try to buy milk that is flavored like beer. If you see what I mean. If you want a racing game, then you don't going to buy an FPS that has racing in the game. That's the kind of analogy I can give here. You don't going to buy one genre of the game because it had some other genres mixed in it. That's just not how it works. So yeah, back to the game. So I clocked now a couple dozen of hours with the game, simply because I was challenged to beat the game, in a very hard difficulty, in a small circular universe, with quick setting and whatever. Yeah, so I tried to fulfill that challenge that was given, but when I was trying to do that at the best of my abilities, I wasn't able to. I couldn't beat the game at very hard, and at least not yet. I know I would eventually get to the point that I would, because it's just a matter of try and error. But anyway, But what it did give me the opportunity to get a closer, more detailed look at the game, especially its mechanics and the whole behind the shiny curtain stuff. And there are several things that start to pop out one after another. So first off, I have to say that really at least 50%, and that's not randomly chosen. That's a pun. Of the game's outcome is decided purely by how lucky or unlucky you are at the beginning of the game. What kind of planet do you get? What kind of planets are around you? The same question for your foes. If you start out in the middle of the galaxy or the universe, galaxy, with an average planet and no good planets around you anywhere near, while your opponents start at the edge of the galaxy with tons of green and Terran and whatever planets around them, then you're doomed from the beginning at this point. So it's really an RNG nightmare, to say the best. So sure, you could argue that life is random and blah, the universe is random, but you know what? No, just no. This is a game that makes you fight in whatever ways, militarily, economically, whatever else, and compete for supremacy. And if you put me into competitive position, then give me competitive position, and give me competitive conditions. Wow, sorry. There simply is no point in continuing a game where you're clearly in a disadvantage from the beginning and you are outclassed by the other races in terms of starting positions and planets and everything. At that point, it would be an uphill battle at best, but a massacre at worst. So, with that being said, let's move to one of the points that I've already made in my first review, the absolute generic mess that are the units and tech buildings. It simply makes no sense. Why do you have a choice of at least 10 fundamentally different species, human and Terrans being the same one, when in the end they use the same hardware and research project and chip types and style of life or whatever you want to call it? It's all about, get food to increase population, get minerals to increase production. They all play the same. And the ships are the same. They're same. They're just different skins. That's it. There's no real difference between the races besides the very few racial differences. There are like 3 or 4 different for each race, but they are taken from a generic pool as well. So you have several races who have the same or partially the same racial bonuses or menaces. So basically you play the game with random dispositions that you were given at the start and hope that you will lock it on your foes. That the right kind of circumstances will happen later in the game. In terms of who will be hostile to whom and etc., it's really a lot of it is just too much depending on pure random luck other than actual skill or whatever. And I'm not saying that the game is purely about luck. Certainly knowledge about the game, in other words skill, helps, but it only does so much. If you start in a horrible position, you need exponentially that much more skill to overcome the odds, which again is something that most people don't find very appealing, and only hardcore fans find of interest. So yeah, my objective and subjective judgment of the game remain pretty much the same. If you aren't a fan of the series, or at least a big fan of the niche, which means you probably are a fan of the series anyways, then there is not much interest in playing the game unless you like the good old frustration of an RNG system. If you are, however, a fan of the series, or are really into this genre, go ahead and have fun with it, that's okay too. Cheers. I'm Sin from Sin's Gaming Reviews, and please like, share and subscribe. Let me know in the comment section what you think about my review. Do you agree? Am I totally wrong? And if so, why? Thank you, and see you soon.